Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today.
Yeah.
You know that my name is Federico. I play in Jamestown for the Jayhawks men's basketball. I'm doing this honors project of 30 day of basketball training off season. And I'm really excited to talk with you
Yeah.
because the mobility and stretching phase is a big part of my program and is a big part of basketball. So, in your opinion, what does good mobility really mean for a basketball player?
So for a basketball player, I mean, obviously a lot of hip. I mean, you got to be able to move laterally for defense, right? And then stop and going. So if I had like a basketball player that came here, I'd probably focus on a bunch of hip stuff, making sure they can abduct, adduct. Um, the biggest thing I do with people now is before I even stretch them muscularly, like I see how their joints move, right? If your joints don't move properly, you can't effectively stretch the muscle because
Yeah.
the joint won't allow you to get a proper stretch on it. So I do a lot of stuff with joints and then get into the muscle stretching. Um,
Is it like
what's your major there?
physical education?
Okay,
I'm doing.
so
Yeah.
let me know if any words like don't make sense to you.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't know. Have you taken like anatomy and physiology?
I mean, I took anatomy in Italy, so
Okay,
yeah.
is that are you from Italy?
Yeah, I'm from Italy. I'm from Italy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, okay, so like for a basketball player, I want to check their ankle mobility. So proper dorsiflexion, so the foot coming back towards them,
Yeah.
right? You need to be able to load to actually jump up if you're getting a rebound, jumping up to block a shot, whatever it is. Ankle mobility laterally. I mean, you as a basketball player, I mean, if you're going to sprain your ankle, most of the time it's an inversion sprain,
Yeah.
seeing how it moves that way. I'd say, I mean, mostly I would just focus on lower body, hips,
Okay.
knees, ankles. I don't know if there's any specific muscles other than, I mean, hip flexors, quads, IT bands, like just the
Yeah.
whole leg.
Yeah. What inspired you to focus on stretching and mobility as a key part of athletic performance?
What was that question?
What inspired you to focus on stretching and mobility as a key part of athletic performance?
I'd say, I mean, you don't have to worry about this. You're young right now. I'd say as we get older, people still are pretty good about going to the gym, right? Going out for walks, doing things. Um, the biggest thing they don't do is stretch, right? And then you tend to
Yeah.
see a lot of older people, terrible posture, hard for them to get up and down. They have the strength, but they don't have the mobility in their joints or their muscles. They might have
Yeah.
contractures that don't allow them to actually move, which then doing that comes weakness because then they can't properly activate their muscle in the full length. So I'd say that probably because it's the biggest thing that's neglected fitness wise.
So like you're saying, as you get older, it's gonna be worse, like the joint or yeah.
Right. I mean, one, it'll be, I mean, you'll get this later, some wear and tear, right? You're pounding the joints right now. And you're good moving now. It's when people stop. Like I get a lot of golfers back here specifically. We focus a lot on like thoracic rotation.
Yeah.
Um, they just kind of get like stuck, but they don't do anything with rotation other than golf. So, I mean, here in Erie, right, we have 3 months of the year where you can golf. That's 9 months. You're not trying to do that movement, right? So, I mean, it's cliche, but you don't use it, you lose it. Same thing
Yeah.
with everything else.
Yeah. My next question is, how important is mobility and flexibility for improving speed, balance, and control on the court?
Oh, huge. Yeah. So, same thing. Think a lot of the time, like basketball players, if they have like a hip pointer or hip flexor strain, right? They tend to be hunched over more. So their muscle's already shortened. So they have a tight muscle at that point. If you have a tight, so say this is your full, what
Yeah.
do I get on my camera here? This is your
Yeah.
full hip flexor. Say a portion of it's shortened, right? Because it's tight. So you only have this much of your hip flexor to activate. So you lose power on driving that knee up to like whether you're going to sprint or you're going to get down to jump up. So instead, if you're loosened, you have that full muscle, which that little bit can make a huge difference with acceleration right away.
Yeah. Well,
That's a
like
big
what's a good exercise for like stretch the hip flexor?
I like somebody passively doing it or stretching it yourself.
Stretching by myself.
I would do probably just like a, let's see if I can set this up, like a half kneeling lunge. So a lot of the time, okay. So a lot of time you see people going like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
The key for this, you don't you almost want to like posterior pelvic tilt and push
Yeah.
your hips forward, not necessarily just driving through this knee. You want to
Okay. Yeah,
that.
push. Yeah.
Um, and depending on how flexible the person is, they can always set up and just put one leg on a table and just kind of let it drop off the table. So it's like halfway on. Like
Yeah.
I work with mostly older individuals, unless they're golfers or pickleball players. I've had some soccer players, hockey. Actually, oh, I've had one hooper. He's 6'8". He's a beast, actually. But he's mostly tight. His is like all like lumbar, low back. His
Yeah, I
his
think
his muscles move pretty well. It's more so getting the low back moving.
yeah, I think I have the same problem. I think like on mobility, like my hip are so like I don't know, I'm trying to do every day some mobility like for my hip, but I can feel that they're tight. So I'm
Yeah,
trying to do like some 90-90. Um, yeah, try to do always like internal rotation. Like when I do my internal rotation, is always harder than external rotation for me.
fair.
So
Yeah, so I mean, if you think about it, we live our lives like if you're just sitting in your chair, right? We kind of naturally externally rotate, abduct at the hips. That's
yeah,
probably the so that's one of the biggest things I work on with people back here is internal rotation. Um, it's not comfortable, right? It feels like it's jamming in our hips. So like 90-90, is that like the shin boxes where you're like this and going back and forth?
yeah,
That's actually a huge one I give people. So that's perfect. Keep doing that one. A lot of studies now show too decrease in strength. So like how often are you actually activating your internal hip rotators? Not very often.
yeah.
Like for you, what I would say is try doing some the 90-90, but whatever legs in internal rotation, try to like lift up that foot to strengthen
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I was doing that too. So like 90-90 position and then put your like your leg like if I do like this side, I'm gonna put the left leg up so I can
Yep.
strengthen the muscle. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I would definitely recommend it. You're doing all the good things, man.
What about like I think it's frog position?
Frog. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be good. More of like a that'll be like an adductor stretch, but it'll still push you into abduction and
Okay.
external
Like do
rotation a little bit.
yeah, that's my another question. Is it better to do like dynamic stretch or static stretch?
So prior to like hooping, dynamic stretching is better. Just get the blood flow going, activate the muscles a little bit, and then post playing, static
Yeah.
stretching is better.
Okay.
Um, so for like the studies show now, the best times for true muscle extensibility benefits is to stretch 2 hours post activity. And I don't truly know why. The only thing I can think of is maybe that's when the lactic acid's at its highest. And then right before bed.
Oh,
Most people hate right before bed, but what are we? We're
yeah, I
probably
just
watching TV or something, so it's easy to knock out stretches then.
yeah.
Um, there are studies too, and it's temporary, but static stretching for a certain length of time. I think it's over 60 seconds. Like you temporarily decrease muscle strength for up to I forget what it is, maybe 45 minutes. So dynamic stretching first and then static after. But there's benefits to both.
Okay. I have another question. How can young athletes tell if they are stretching too much or too little?
Usually, younger athletes tend to be pretty mobile. Um, I think it would depend on what their goals are. Like if it's for basketball, are you able to get into the certain positions you need to? Um, I'd say if you're very sore after stretching, you're either A, very tight, or you're stretching too much.
Yeah.
And I let kind of just like let pain be your guide for that.
Is it stretching like there is a lot of type of stretching, like stretching with the gravity, stretching against the gravity. So what's the best stretching like you could have like for example, we're talking about let's talk about hip, okay?
Okay.
So is it better to stretch against the gravity, stretch like put like for example, put the two dumbbell on your knees and stretch all the abductor like
Uh, I don't know if there'd be a benefit one over the other. I'd say whatever one you're able to tolerate a greater stretch in, that's the one I would focus on.
okay.
As long as you're hitting the right muscles. I
Okay.
don't. I think. I mean, a stretch is a stretch. So I don't know if there's. I'd say whatever one somebody can steadily do daily compared to if it sucks, right? You're not going to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I have another question that's really good because I heard about it and I think it's benefits. So when you're stretching, is like your breathing has to be like you have to breathe.
Right.
So breathe in and breathe out because when you breathe in and when you breathe out, you try to relax the muscle more.
Yeah. Your muscles tend to relax and you sink into the stretch a little bit better.
Yeah.
So like yoga, like a lot of my people back here, I tried convincing them to get into yoga because you learn. I mean, they kind of tell you to breathe throughout the whole thing, and you really just feel your body relax and sink into those stretches. Because 8 out of 10 people, when they're in like a strong stretch, they tend to hold their breath, and then
Yeah,
they
that's
like
true.
tighten up their muscles, and then they're
Yeah, because
activating, they're fighting the stretch instead of kind of
yeah,
going with it.
yeah, exactly. That was my question. What advice would you give to young athletes who want to build long-term habits that keep their bodies healthy and flexible?
Start stretching now. Like I said, like that's the biggest thing people neglect as they get older is stretching,
Yeah,
any sort of mobility. So I would say start stretching now, almost build like a little routine. Um, Especially being younger kids, like or an athlete, you guys know where you're tight, right? So you guys know what to focus on. Biggest, like a lot of people will stretch and it's easy, so they do it daily, but maybe that's not muscles they need to stretch. So they're
yeah,
kind of just wasting their time. Stretching is not necessarily the most comfortable thing, but that's when you know that's what you need to work on.
exactly. Yeah, actually, that was my last question. Like, how do you help athletes stay consistent with stretching when it's not as exciting as strength or skill training?
Yeah. So
That was my
that's with stretching, like I get a lot of balance patients back here because they're tight. Um, I'd say the only time it's exciting for them is when they notice, oh, I was able to like squat down and pick this up. Like I couldn't do that before. Or even with walking, right? Same thing back to that tight hip flexor. They have improved power when they're going to step forward.
yeah,
For an athlete, it would be different. It'd be right getting down into a defensive stance, quickly shifting to sprint forward or something.
yeah,
Um, it's when it relates to qualities of life is that's the exciting part. Unfortunately, during the stretch, maybe you see your leg goes back farther. Like
yeah. Yeah, I was the type of guy that after basketball practice, I never stretch, and then I started like 2 years ago, start stretching, and I was really bad on defense. Now that I start stretching, I'm getting low, so now I can play defense. So that's one of
yeah,
benefits of stretching too. Like yes, yeah. I don't have any question anymore. So thank you so much for your time.
yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for
If you
sharing.
want, go ahead and send that over to me,
Yeah,
and I'll look it
I'm
over.
gonna do it right now. I'm gonna send it to you right now. So if you have anything to tell me like about what I wrote, just share with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? Thank you so much.
You're
Have
welcome.
a
Good
good
luck
day.
hooping.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.